Hey everybody, it's Matt here, and today we're doing something a little bit different on the channel, which I might have said before, maybe even fairly recently, but the point is that we are also doing something very different on the channel. Today, we're actually taking a look at the Wii U eShop, and we're taking a look at it for the last time. I was a bit of a late adopter to the Wii U, but I really enjoy it for what it is. A machine that can play a ton of retro games and a few like Wii U games. Some that have already been ported to the Switch, so it's kind of like, why get it? It's not like I got it because Wonderful 101 wasn't on the Switch yet, and then when I got one, I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Then I bought Wonderful 101 on eBay, and then all of a sudden, they announced it for the Switch. Not like that happened, but if it did, then it's okay, and it happens to people who are attractive. But point is that we are taking a look at the Wii U eShop for the last time, having a little bit of a time capsule here in 2022, seeing the ups and downs of where it currently is. And I want to mention as well, by the way, if you're sitting here thinking, oh, but I can't get anything on it, this really sucks. Actually, you can. So I actually did a video about this over at our tutorial level channel. You can still, even though it's past March, or I believe the date specifically was May, you can still buy stuff from the eShop. But either way, without further ado, let's get into the video right now. So here's a potentially controversial opinion to start this off. I hate this game because I actually like this game. Yet, for some reason, the eShop is too fast to load where I can't play this game for long enough, but still too slow that it loads like this, even in 2022. This is going to be a very fun journey into a very slow loading eShop. Also, something we have to talk about is the fact that they are still talking about Breath of the Wild, Splatoon, Mario Kart 8, the Nintendo Selects, and also new releases. We're going to see what that entails in just a little bit. You can see here that there's a bunch of categories based on different characters, also the Virtual Console, which we're definitely going to take a look at in this video. We're also going to be purchasing some stuff as well from the eShop one last time. Didn't mention that earlier for some reason, but that's also something that I would love to do as well. We can see some RPGs, multiplayer games, games for kids, which some people would think that's just pretty much the entire library, really, but games particularly focused for kids. Oddly enough, the Virtual Console also split into different consoles, and technically the Wii as well. Not technically under the Virtual Console, but still you can buy Wii games on the Wii U. There was a lot of controversies around something like Skyward Sword being $60 when it was $20 on the Wii U. It says 3DS, but you can actually buy 3DS games on the Wii U if you don't know. It's just showing some trailers and whatnot, and also some stuff related to the Nintendo Switch down there, and quote-unquote video on demand, which is Crunchyroll, Netflix, and YouTube. But again, featured on Switch is just trailers as well. Although what's really odd is that when it comes to featured on 3DS, it's also just promoting some stuff that you can get on the 3DS. So it shows, hey, you could buy this on your 3DS. Maybe because of the fact that you could link your accounts, you could purchase from either one. Let's look at games on sale. I want to see what is on sale for the Wii U. If there's maybe some Nintendo games, something really cheap that might be a little cool to get, like Nintendo published games. And looking at it right here, we have some games that I've never heard of outside of, I think I might have heard of Spheroids, but I haven't really heard of these games. You probably haven't either. And also there's a very good chance from looking at some of these games that, oh, Hello Kitty Cruisers. That one's $3.99. Huh. I've never played this game, but it's really cheap. And man, this eShop is very hard to load. Might actually end up picking this one up. Stop judging me. I feel like you're judging me. I can feel it. I can feel it through the monitor. Stop it. I want to look at indie games simply due to the fact that I want to see if there's any gems here that maybe aren't on the Switch, even though I would highly doubt that, because even looking at Axiom Verge here, it looks really cool, but it's on the Switch. And that definitely is going to be a theme in this video, is it already on the Switch? Oh, it is. Okay. And if it's not on the Switch, then it's definitely on Steam. So if it's on Steam, probably on the Steam Deck. So let's actually go over to Virtual Console games, and something that I noticed immediately that I didn't see before when Nintendo was promoting the consoles that they had on the Virtual Console was that there's TurboGrafx 16 games here. Now, nothing really catches my eye, but it's just something that I never really hear people talk about, is how the TurboGrafx 16 games are just on the Wii U. You can just buy them for it's a couple bucks depending. So very interesting to see. But I do want to go over to the Super Nintendo because I love Super Nintendo. The first console I ever had growing up when I was 5 in 1997, and when a little late to the party, I know. And looking at some of these that were purchased outside of Earthbound, these were actually purchased by my friend Anthony, who owned the console before me. Got it from him for Wonderful 101, and so other things as well, Virtual Console. So looking at these, I'm sure that a lot of you out there are probably like, really, you know, these, you can just emulate these and whatnot for ROMs, really going to pay $7.99. But I think the thing to note is that if you know, at a time when you weren't going to be able to mod your Wii U easily, at a time when, yes, you could emulate, but it's not that it was hard to emulate Super Nintendo when the Wii U was out, but I think it just feels as if you are not specifically promoting a developer necessarily, because obviously we are dealing for the most part with Virtual Console games here with major corporations, but it feels as if you can say, hey, if I buy Mega Man X, and looking at Mega Man X 2 and 3, I have to admit there is a part of me that's wondering if I should get them, because I don't, I've never played 2 and 3. I have the first one, the original SNES copy, but when it comes to these games in general, if you buy another, you know, Mega Man X 1, 2, or 3, another copy, you might sit back and get Capcom to think, or any company to think, oh, we should maybe put more of these out, either on the Virtual Console, or just maybe create a remake or something. And that's why someone like me is going to buy these. So looking at these Game Boy Advance games, I have to say that yes, these also, I do think that the $7.99 is definitely more justified if we're looking at it from the perspective of how close they were to the Wii U's release compared to, let's say, the SNES. Not that they were hard to emulate, mind you, either. But the gamepad definitely lent itself to wanting to play these as, you know, Game Boy Advance, as handhelds. But when you look at these games, I have to say, you know, again, get where you're coming from if you're looking at the price and going, really, 8 each? But, you know, even if you don't buy them all, I have to say, having Klonoa up here, when you didn't have a Wii U Klonoa game, I mean, you had the Wii version, but still, and oh, the Mega Man Battle Network games. Oh, I might pick up one of those. And the reason why is because when filmed this footage, I'm recording this later, but when I filmed the footage, they didn't talk about Battle Network coming to the Switch, so I thought that it was just going to stay on the Wii U forever. So I may end up purchasing one of those Battle Network games. But looking at some of the other games as well, again, many of these not on the Switch, not maybe ever coming to the Switch. Those Klonoa games were very important as well, because I didn't even know that there were Game Boy Advance Klonoa games until I ended up actually seeing them on the Wii U on the Virtual Console. And I still have Mega Man Battle Network Blue, the third one, but I don't have that first one. So what is Kudu Kudu Kuduri? What is this? Huh, that's interesting. Never heard of this, and no idea why it's on the Wii U. Hopefully with the Wii U eShop shutting down, that was the one thing stopping Nintendo from having a Game Boy Advance section on their Nintendo Switch Online. Hopefully. While the NES section doesn't interest me as much, you can see that I bought Earthbound Beginnings because I actually ended up buying it before Nintendo ever announced that it was coming to Switch Online. And I believe I recorded this footage after they had announced it, but I bought that way before because I knew that if I was going to want to play that, I was going to want to do it on the Wii U, and I just had this sinking feeling that it would take a long time, if ever, Nintendo would end up putting that on Switch Online. Happy that they did, happy that everyone gets to experience that, and honestly, it was only $5, quote unquote, wasted, and I don't even consider it a waste. I do in the fact that I didn't beat it in time, but you know, it's fine. Now I have it on 2 platforms, quote unquote, have it. So we have to admit though, while I'm not as interested in this as I am with, let's say, like the Super Nintendo or the N64, as I didn't really grow up with the NES, I still have to say though, I'm really enjoying this diversity of games, and you know, it is frustrating that we are losing some of these, but I have to admit, a fair amount of these are actually on Switch Online. Very much seemed to, like, when it came to the NES, they really did care about putting those on Switch Online, although again, there are a few here and there that make you kind of squint and go, wait, really? They released that on the Virtual Console? It's N64 time, and the controversy begins. So, did I buy Paper Mario? Yes. Wasn't Anthony, it was me. Because at the time, there was no N64 on Nintendo Switch Online. Now, does that mean that I'm upset that I spent $10? Nope, because sure, it's a little bit darker than I would like, but guess what? Not getting those save glitches on the Wii U. I think. I've heard no one talk about them. Hopefully there's no save glitches on the Wii U. And look, these are $10 each, and I understand that there's going to be a problem with that to some, but again, controversy coming up. When it comes to N64 emulation, I'd rather buy those games on the Wii U than I would, I was about to say buying, so I had to pause, emulating them on the PC. Not that I'm anti-emulation. You've heard me talk about it throughout the video, but there are a lot of things that you have to configure per game that I would rather just purchase it here. N64 emulation is not easy. Alright, so controversy over, leave your comments down below. Now we're in the DS section, and I have to say, while the price is the same, I assume it's also just emulation, the amount of time put into emulating, making sure that they work as well as they can, because there were two screens. But at the same time though, this makes so much sense that DS would be on the Wii U because of the fact that there's a touchpad, so obviously makes a ton of sense. And looking at some of these games, by the way, there's some heavy hitters here, to the point where, like, I have to say that you should definitely buy one of these games if you can. I personally would recommend either Super Mario 64 DS, one of the Mystery Dungeon games, but personally though, I'm not going to be getting any of them, but there are just so many good games here that it makes a lot of sense why, if you want to get into the DS, if you don't want to emulate, if you don't have a DS, I mean, you look at Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks. I haven't played it, but I've heard so many good things about Legend of Zelda on the DS, so highly suggest that you, if you can, buy DS games on here. Wii downloads, though. Look at this. None of these are on sale, which, you know what, frustrating I know, but for 20 bucks, I really should buy one of these games. I don't think I can, because 20 is a little bit too rich for my blood right now, but I gotta say though, these are some really good to mix to okay games. Really like Galaxy though. If I didn't recently play Galaxy, borrowed Anthony's copy as well. Love you, Anthony, so much. Hope you're watching this video. But if I didn't do that, oh my god, Xenoblade Chronicles. Jeez, I really should potentially buy one of these. Resident Evil 4, I didn't even know that it had a Wii edition. I always forget that it does because I think of it as a GameCube game. But man, Xenoblade Chronicles, should I know I should buy it, but like gameplay wise, but like looking at my wallet, well, my wallet disagrees. But I do have to say though, Zack and Wiki, I've heard great things about that. Really, probably not coming to the Switch. Would laugh if by the time this comes out they've announced it on the Switch, but Lost in Shadow as well. So there are definitely some really good games here. You know, the Wii U gets a lot of flack, and I think it deserves some of the flack, but I have to say though, having the Metroid Prime trilogy, just look at all these games. I mean, it is absurd to think about the fact that these may never come to Switch in one form or another. Well, okay, maybe not, some of them might, but not all of them. Now we're going to check out eShop exclusives, because I have to see some of the cool, hip, and happening things that are exclusive to this eShop. I mean, Galaxy Blaster, Pinball, Brick Race, a lot of stuff, and those games could be good. I will just not be purchasing them. But a lot of Wings of Maglorks. Oh wow, that game looks pretty neat. I like the art style. Not buying it, but looks cool. Splashy Duck. No thank you, but cute nonetheless. Oh hello, Fatal Frame, Maiden of the Black Water. Not exclusive now, for obvious reasons, but at the time it was, and it's a free download. So if I'm correct, I'm pretty sure it's a free download because you are downloading like a few chapters of the game. They're trying to get you hooked enough to buy the game. I don't want to buy the game, but I definitely want to add it to my free download, so I will definitely be doing that a little bit later in the video. So now let's look at Nintendo Selects, because I want to see what actually was part of the Nintendo Selects lineup for the Wii U, and if any of them are on sale. So looking at, right off the bat, Wind Waker, that's beautiful. I've only played about maybe like 30 minutes or so, but I've definitely enjoyed what I've seen, and I want to play more. Some of these, as you can see, are only available on 3DS. Again, weird that they're showing them on the Wii U. I assume that you could cross-buy, but just play on the 3DS if you had both of your accounts hooked up. And I gotta say, $20 each for these. Look, if you can get them on disc, they're probably $10 less. So I will admit that, yeah, go for the disc version. but for ease of use and convenience, especially for some of these games that might be around the same price anyway on disc or, on cartridge, I gotta say, for the 3DS side specifically, you probably should go for some of these on the 3DS eShop at least. So I do recommend, at least on the 3DS side, going for them. Wii U side, probably get disc only. I can't imagine many of these being, well, Wind Waker, definitely I think I was just going for this. But generally though, I'm pretty sure that the disc side is cheaper. What are the new releases? This is going to be very interesting in 2022. Looking at some of these, already I'm not as interested, but looking at Shakedown Hawaii, I actually have the physical version of that on the Wii U. I believe it was the last Wii U game ever made. Got it, I believe, last year, although dear God, if it was 2 years prior. Highly recommend it. Definitely should check it out. It's also available on Switch, so obviously not just a Wii U exclusive game, but definitely, and Steam as well, so definitely check it out. It's very fun. Yeah, the comedy is good as well, and the art style is beautiful. Oh, some of these TurboGrafx games are under new releases and were released in 2018. Makes a lot of sense why people didn't talk about them, because by that point, the Switch was already out, so that makes a lot more sense. So I think I know what I'm getting. The first being Hello Kitty Cruisers. Again, don't judge me, I can feel it because of the fact that it was so cheap and I can play it on a future Let's Play, maybe even like a super sleepover or something with Deej. When it comes to Mega Man Battle Network, yeah, definitely gonna get that one, especially because of the fact that I'm pretty sure I beat it a while back, but I didn't beat the second one, which if you saw an unboxing video we did a while back, I have. It just doesn't, it's not in the best condition, but the game does work. So I have the second one and I have the third one physically from when I was a kid, but I don't have this first one, and if I didn't beat it, I would love to be able to do that now, even though yes, it is available on Switch. Again, I bought this, I recorded this footage before it was, so I definitely want to pick that one up and just go for a little freebie here with Maiden of the Black Water. I assume that one will still work because of the fact that it's downloaded on my system even when the eShop goes down, but if it doesn't, well, that sucks, but at least it's available on the Switch as well. I gotta say, I'm happy with these purchases, and it's very interesting that these are the last ones that I will ever make for the Wii U eShop. So let's jump back to me in front of the shelf. And that about wraps up this video. But when it comes to the Wii U, don't think of it as dead for two reasons. The first being that really, when it comes to video games and consoles and things like that, it's about what they mean to you. It's about what you think about when you think about them. Be it the memories, these feelings that come about when you think about a console, when you look at a console. So in a way, the Wii U will never die. And reason number two is that there's one right here. There's two. I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to pull one out. You see I got one right here. So it's alive right here. This one works. And then that one right behind it, that's a white one, and that one also works. So I got two Wii U's and they both work. Why two? I think I've told the story before on the channel. One of them is modded because we're at that point where I feel perfectly comfortable in saying that one of them is modded. But I got into it so late that I literally got into it 2 years ago, so it's okay. And when it comes to that one is stock. Or actually no, that's the modded one. This is the stock one. Point is that one of these I bought from a friend of mine named Anthony. Actually, I talked about this over at a tutorial level channel as well. And when it came to getting one from Anthony, he was trying to move up to get a Switch. So I said, hey man, how about I throw you some cash? So I did. So I got this Wii U because that one came with a broken gamepad. And by the way, gamepads are very hard to fix. Boy howdy, I thought I knew what I was doing, and it turns out I didn't. So point is though, is that I actually have two Wii U's, so they're still alive, really. So the Wii U is still alive, so it's cool. This shop is going down, that's really sad, and that's why we're here to take a look at it one last time, and I'm so happy that you did. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked the video, please remember to like and subscribe. But I mean, the Wii U still alive. Here it is, right here. I'm not gonna knock on it because they're kind of getting pricey, but I'm just gonna pat it. You're a good boy, all right? They're good boys, both of them. All right, these are my boys. Okay, they're good. Where the hell did this video go? Either way, love you all, take care, and tune in next time for something completely different. Alright everybody, so see ya!